Assemblyman Brindisi, of course, in the news after the Post story yesterday, the New York Post story, and everybody reacting to it. The Assemblyman is on the line right now. I hope that you're not going to be thuggish since you've had to wait. Good morning.
I'll try and behave myself.
Try if you can.
I'm sorry, we're running behind.
Good morning, Anthony Brindisi. So, what is your take? Clearly, a likely place to have this leaked is the Post because of Claudia's connection with Fred Dicker.
Sure.
What's your take on it?
Yeah, leaked in quotes, I guess is how it goes. But this is really nothing new for my opponent. It's something she resorted to last year when I first announced that I was running, and I fully expected this attack to come back from her because she's always been someone who wants to really just try and find ways to divide us. She is always going to look for those ways. That's her way of or perceived way that she thinks she can win, and I'm always going to be someone who wants to try and bring all of us together. But this is who she is. I know that from knowing her. The public is seeing that now, and it's not, in my opinion, a strategy of a winning campaign. These kinds of character attacks and petty personal politics, people are sick of that. That's the one thing I hear all through the campaign and all through the district is people are sick of the personal attacks, and it doesn't help people who are concerned about their rising health care costs. It doesn't help people who are worried about their Social Security or Medicare. It doesn't help with our plans on jobs or the economy. It's just it's a sideshow, and we're going to, in my campaign, continue to focus on the issues and tell people why we are the best candidate to represent this district, why we are the one who has a real track record of standing up to both parties, who's reached across the aisle and works well with everybody, and she does not have those qualities.
I want to ask, obviously, this is more than what happened last year with the interview she did with the USA Today. Here, it's implying that you're spying on her, you're slashing tires. The whole implication is that innuendo is there, which is much bigger than saying we deserve to know your family upbringing, which we asked you about that. What, it was a year ago. We have
14 months ago.
14 months ago. I want to play a little clip from what you had to say about that then, and then I'd like to talk about the difference now. Listen to this clip here.
Assemblyman, before you go, yes. How will you handle that? I mean, if this is coming up now, when she's talking about your father and Google him and look him up, how do you plan to handle that? I know you said you're going to focus on the issues, but this is something you're going to have to respond to in some way because some people might be familiar with things or some people might have no idea what she's talking about. There, as Bill said, it was a lot of innuendo, and Google it and go find out. How are you going to handle that during the campaign? How do you answer that?
We're going to see if it continues. If it continues, obviously I'm going to have to address it. I love my father. You know, he's a great attorney. He's represented countless people in this area. He's done many good things for charitable organizations in this region, and I have nothing but love and admiration for who he is. My mother passed away when I was 4 years old, and my father and my sisters shouldered the burden of raising me and making sure that I was well educated and that I was able to grow up in a loving family without a mother. So that's the kind of man he was and the family that I came from, and I'm very proud of that. And if she wants to attack him, for things that happened when I was 4 years old, I think voters see right through that kind of stuff. They don't want to hear that nonsense. What they want to hear is how we're going to be able to make their lives better, how we can help provide good-paying jobs in the area or health care for people, or making sure that everyone has access to a good education. Those are the issues that are important to voters in this area, and those are the issues that I'm going to work on and talk about in this campaign.
That was you 14 months ago, and here we are again. The difference in this one, the innuendo is it's just clear cut, implying
not really
that,
any innuendo in there.
You're in some, or have people that are, and you'll do anything to protect and win this seat. This is different. This opens up all new doors. Do you agree with that?
Well, she's certainly going down a very dark path here, and everything she is saying is completely false. It's all lies. If you were so concerned about these kinds of incidents, why not file a police report or something like that? I think the journalism here has been good in proving that there have not been any reports filed. Our campaign doesn't engage in those kinds of tactics. We're out there every day knocking on doors, talking to potential voters. We're doing town hall meetings, as I did this past week, my 10th town hall meeting in the district, making phone calls, trying to encourage people to go out and vote, and giving them reasons why we would like to have them vote for us about our positions on health care and Medicare and Social Security. That's what voters are responding to. And like I said earlier, her strategy right now is not the strategy of a winning campaign.
Yeah.
This is not the kind of tactic you engage in if you think you're winning. She knows she's behind, and this is the kind of the tactics she's going to resort to.
Does it open a door? I mean, and you have not returned with attacks on her. I mean, does this open the door to her family? Think about the commercials that are running right now, claiming that this seems to be one of the happiest families in the world, when a lot of people will say, it's not quite the way she's projecting it. Does that open the door? Is her family now fair game?
Not in my book. In my book, families are out of bounds, and I'm not going to speak about her family. I would wish that she would not speak about my family, because the voters don't care. That's the issue, Bill. They just don't care. What they care about is the people who have their name on the ballot in November. Her name is on the ballot in November. Anthony Brindisi, my name is on the ballot in November, not our families. And if people can't vote for us because of our record, then people will resort to these kinds of personal attacks. I'm not talking about her family. No one cares. People want to hear about my stance on the issue. They want to hear where she stands. The whole thing here, Bill, is that she doesn't want to talk about where she stands on the issue, because when you start to delve into her record, it's bad. You know, she doesn't want you to know that she voted to take health care away from people. She doesn't want you to know that she took money from all these special interest groups and then voted against our interest. She doesn't want you to know that she voted to allow Internet service providers to look at our personal browsing information and then took money from those same Internet service providers. This is not a record. She doesn't want you to know she's out there talking about Medicare in her commercials. What she doesn't want you to know is that she voted for Paul Ryan's budget last year, which takes $500 billion out of Medicare. That's a fact. Those are losing issues for her, and she's not going to want to talk about those. So if she can distract the conversation and bring it towards my family, she thinks that's a winning issue. But I think people see right through that, and they know that it's my name on the ballot in November, not who my family is.
Anthony Brindisi, I appreciate your response here, and we will talk again. It's getting down to the home stretch here.
Absolutely. Looking forward to coming back.
All right. Thanks so much. Assemblyman
Bye-bye.
Anthony Brindisi.